Hey everybody, this is Linda West with Living Live, and I'm so excited today to share with you Frank Shankwitz. He is the creator and a founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Now, the Make-A-Wish Foundation is a worldwide organization that does amazing work, and Frank is going to talk to us about how that came about, the story about how it came about. We're going to talk about his life as a young boy, and we're going to talk about him now and what his future is. And also, we're going to talk about his movie, his book, his speaking. We're going to talk about everything. We're going to get it all done in a half hour. So Frank, thanks you so much and welcome to Living Live. I'm excited to have you here.
Well, Linda, thank you for inviting me. This should be fun.
It's going to be fun, I promise, at least for you and me. So Frank, let's start with, first of all, let's talk about the founding of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. If you want to tell the story about how that came about, and then we'll go back to some of your childhood and other stuff. Let's try that way.
Okay, and it's kind of a long narrative, so but we'll get it. I'll try and do the condensed version.
Okay.
In 1980, I was a motorcycle officer with the Arizona Highway Patrol. And during this time, the TV show Chips was very popular, especially with the kids.
Oh, with the ladies too, by the way.
Yeah, okay. That's right, Erica Strada, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and I was on a 10-man squad that traveled the whole state of Arizona. 2 weeks in one town, 2 weeks in another. And because of the show Chips, all of a sudden the children, when we're riding into town, we were always a two-man team, just like the TV show, would start yelling, "Hey, Ponch, hey, John." And I asked our commanders if we had a little bit of off time for those rural areas, we could go to the grade schools and talk to the kids about bicycle safety, which they could care less about. They just wanted to get on the motorcycles. And we knew that, but it was a great PR. And I was informed in April of 1980, a customs officer named Tommy Austin called one of our detectives named Ron and said, "I've met a little boy who has terminal leukemia. He only has a couple weeks to live. His heroes are Ponch and John from Chips." And he told his mother, "When I grow up, I want to be a motorcycle officer, just like Ponch and John." And the customs officer said, "Is there any way he can meet one of the motorcycle officers from your department, from the Highway Patrol?" And Ron had known that I had been doing this all around the state with the children and called me and said, "Will you get involved with this?" Well, of course, I'd be happy to.
Yeah.
And the department arranged for, with the doctor's permission, Chris's mother's permission, for our state police helicopter to go to his hospital, pick him up, fly him to our headquarters building, where I would be standing by with the motorcycle. And I had no idea what to expect. I had not met this little boy. I just expected our paramedics to help him out. He's going to be on IVs. The helicopter landed, and out the doors open, out jumps this little pair of red sneakers just running over to me. "Hi, I'm Chris. Can I get on your motorcycle?"
Oh my gosh.
"Of course you can, Chris." And he had watched Chips so much, and our equipment was identical to California Highway Patrol. In fact, we did our initial training with CHP. The only thing different was on our uniforms, the patches were different, and that's it.
Okay.
And he got on the motorcycle. He said, "Okay, this switch is a siren." He knew, watched Chips so much, he knew every switch and button on that motorcycle.
And he was how old at that time?
He was 7 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. And he even asked if I'd open the saddlebag to see if I had the same stuff that Ponch, Eric Estrada had in there.
Did you?
Oh, of course. This little boy was just having so much fun. And it dawned on me that he's laughing, and this little boy just come off IVs. And I'm looking at his mother, and she's got tears running down her eyes. And it dawned on me, she's watching her 7-year-old boy again, playing, having fun, instead of laying in a hospital bed. It just got to me and the other officers. And a funny part of this morning was, I said, we were allowed in those days to give the children a ride in the parking lot on our motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Chris, would you like to go for a ride on the motorcycle?" He got very nervous and voice shaking a little bit.
Really?
And I said, "Well, okay, Chris, now you just flew in a helicopter. How come you don't want to go on a motorcycle?" And he looked at me very seriously and said, "Helicopters have doors." And we learned that doors were very important to him, even though he wanted to be a motorcycle officer. So just about then, one of the squad cars pulled up, and I said, "You want to help drive the squad car?" And he said yes, and he jumped on the sergeant's lap and helped steer the squad car around the parking lot, red lights and siren. But the funny part of this was, as he was doing this, he was chewing bubble gum, and he blew this giant bubble. And I looked over at his mother and I said, there's his bubblegum trooper, which she wrote a book about with that title, which I believe is still available on Amazon.
Bubblegum Trooper. I love it.
Bubblegum Trooper.
Okay.
But just to kind of condense this, Chris became the first and only honorary Highway Patrol officer in the history of the Highway Patrol that day, complete with his own certificate, his own badge, which was assigned to him and still assigned to him today, 37 years later.
Oh, wow.
Got to meet the director of the Highway Patrol, got to meet the director of the Arizona Department of Public Safety. And his doctor who was with him told his mother, you can take him home tonight. Take him to his comfort zone. He said, I don't understand, but his vitals are so good. Take him home. And Chris got to go home that night, but we felt good about what we were doing. And one of the officers said, we have a new highway patrolman. He needs a uniform.
Uh-huh.
And uniforms are custom made in those days at a tailor shop in the Phoenix area. Just to closing, we went to the shop. We said, we got the 7-year-old boy. He's about this high, this wide. Can you make a uniform for him? 2 ladies spent all night making a uniform for Chris. The next morning, we picked up the uniform. We got permission to go to Chris's house in the rural Phoenix area. I led several other motorcycle officers, squad cars into the neighborhood, red lights and siren. You can imagine the neighbors, right? About what's going on. Chris came running out and just in awe, we handed him his uniform. He couldn't believe it. He runs in, gets changed immediately, comes strutting out with uniform, just proud as can be. But he comes over to me and he says, my wish, and that's the first time I heard that word, is to be a motorcycle officer. How do I do that? He was happy being a highway patrolman, but he wants to be a highway patrol motorcycle officer.
Okay.
Done. And I just teasing him, and I told him it's a shame I told him the course that we go through the training. I said, it's a shame you don't have a motorcycle. We put up some pylons right in your driveway and test you. Chris was a step ahead of me. He runs in the house and comes out riding on a little battery-operated motorcycle that his mother had got for him and placed in a wheelchair. He's got on his uniform. He's got on the helmet we gave him. He's even got on the aviator glasses that his mother had got for him.
Oh, my gosh.
But the funniest part, Linda, was he put on what we call on a ranch a rubber mucking boots, the high-top boots with his pants tucked in that looked like our motorcycle boots. Very serious. We set up the course. He goes through. He comes back. Did I pass? Yes, Chris, you did. You passed. When do I get my wings? Referring to the motorcycle wings that we wore on our uniform. And those were special ordered also. And I said, Chris, I'll get the wings right away. It'll take a day or two.
Okay.
Chris, I got to stay home that day, just happy as can be.
Yeah.
I ordered the wings a couple days later. Just as I picked up the wings from the jeweler, I get a call from the dispatcher. Chris is in the hospital in a coma, probably not going to survive the day. I received permission to go to his hospital. When I entered the room, his uniform is hanging right by his bed. He's in the coma. I pinned on the motorcycle wings on his uniform. Just as I did, Chris came out of the coma.
Oh,
he
wow.
looks at me with a big smile. Am I a motorcycle officer? Now, yes, you are, Chris. His wish had become true. Unfortunately, he passed away a couple hours later, and I always like to think maybe those wings helped carry him to heaven.
Yeah, wow.
Now, our commander said, we have lost a fellow officer because he was sworn in as an honorary highway patrol officer. And we learned his funeral was going to be in Illinois, a little town called Kewanee, Illinois. And my commanders asked if I would go back along with another motorcycle officer to give Chris a full police funeral, which we did. When we got to Kewanee, Illinois, the word had got out. Our Fraternal Order of Police had contacted the Illinois chapter for Fraternal Order of Police. And when we got to the funeral home, we were met by Illinois State Police, County Police, City Police to give this little boy a full funeral procession. He was buried in uniform. His Chris marker reads, Chris Gracious, Arizona Trooper. But coming home, flying home, I just started thinking, maybe somewhere over Kansas at 36,000 feet, there's a little boy who had a wish, and we made it happen. Why can't we do that for other children? And that's when the foundation was born.
Wow. So would you say that was the aha moment, that was that moment where you were like, we need to do something different. We're going to start a nonprofit? Or at that point, was it not even going into a nonprofit yet?
Well, it thought was going to be the nonprofit. I don't know if that was the aha moment, but I just had that idea. And I'm a police officer. I don't know anything about nonprofit. It took a lot of time studying at the local library. This is before the days of internet and everything.
Yeah.
How to start a nonprofit. And then also, by Arizona Corporation Commission rules for a nonprofit, you have to have a total of 5 board members.
Okay.
And finding the other 4 members who believed in the idea was a chore. It took 6 months.
Wow, 6 months?
6 months, because everybody that was involved with the initial, let's call it a wish of Chris, they just contacted them. This is my idea. It will never work. It's just too far-fetched. Nobody's going to accept the idea. And going back to my childhood a little bit, I was taught, always turn that negative into a positive.
Okay.
Until you know, find a way to make it yes. And I kept applying that and finally found those 4 other people that believed in the mission. And off we went, got our 501c3.
Well, what would you say that kept you going? Because 6 months of hitting no, there was something inside you that for some reason you felt like you needed to do this. What was that?
I had researched with St. Joseph's Hospital, which then was the Children's Hospital in Phoenix area, and found out there were several terminally ill children in that hospital. And I said, these are the kids that we want to get to. These are the kids. And we started out with ages 2.5 to 18. But these kids that they need that wish before they pass away. They need, and the family also, they need to get together as a family unit, just have so much fun, forget about doctors and hospitals and everything else and bills. And that was the drive to keep it going.
Yeah, wow. Well, thank you so much for doing that, because you could have given up, but you didn't. You persevered, just kept going forward. And boy, what it is today. Do you know how many wishes have been granted to date?
Well,
approximately?
this is I recently got this figure, and this just kind of blows me away, if you don't mind that expression.
Yeah.
Make-A-Wish is worldwide.
Right.
And there are 63 chapters in the United States. There are 36 international chapters on 5 continents. And last month I got a new figure that we have granted since 1981, when we became official, 415,000 wishes around the world.
Wow. How does that make you feel?
Very proud of also what the whole team has done. Obviously, I was first president and CEO, but it took a lot of help over the years. But, and the other good figure is every 28 minutes, and this is the one that really gets to me, every 28 minutes somewhere in the world, a wish is granted. All because of one little boy who wanted to be a motorcycle officer.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. 28 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow. That is just, it is
it's
mind
hard
blowing.
to comprehend. Yeah. It's hard to comprehend.
It really is, because we hear about statistics all the time. But to think, first of all, that there's that many kids that are having wishes in the first place is mind blowing in itself. But then you guys are granting those wishes. So that's absolutely amazing. I love it. I love it. So
and
now,
I also want to point out, when we started the foundation, it was for terminal illnesses, because leukemia in the early 80s was a death sentence.
Exactly.
And now, through the grace of God, modern medicine, more and more children are surviving. In fact, there's about right now a 70% survival rate.
Yeah.
So about 15 years ago, we changed the mission statement to children with life-threatening illnesses.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully through the grace of God, modern medicine, they're going to go in remission. And this unofficial figure is about 70% of these children that get their wishes do go in remission.
Wow. So it just shows the power of the positivity, and what they're getting that wish granted is so crucial to their life, right? So that life,
and we have what we call a rush wish, where the doctor will say, if you're going to do this, it has to be done in a month or 2, because the child is not going to survive. The child goes on the wish, whatever it might be, at Disney or meeting a celebrity, whatever it might be, and comes back and goes into remission.
Wow.
Total remission. And the doctors can't explain it. And we just call it the power of a wish. And in my mind, and I've got to talk to a lot of these children afterwards who are now adults, and they just said, I had so much fun, and I want to do something like that again.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh.
The only way I can do that again is get rid of whatever's happening to me, the cancers and so on. And
wow.
Right, yeah.
That really does show the power of the mind, right? Like,
exactly. That
is amazing, because I know I had heard about some younger, people had their wishes granted, but they're alive today. And I was like, how is that possible? Because I thought it was always terminal. So that's good. Good to know you guys, you had to change your mission statement because unfortunately a lot of kids were surviving their cancer.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So that's a great thing. I love it.
And even in our original charter that we wrote, hopefully we'll go out of business someday. Wouldn't that be neat?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like all the nonprofits that are doing cancer research, hopefully someday it will be gone and they won't be necessary. They can have a different cause,
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. So I had a friend of mine ask me this question. She was wondering about making wishes come true for terminal illness adults.
Yeah, there are several organizations in the United States, and I can only think of the one name now in the Arizona area. It's called the Bucket List Foundation. And they do the wishes. It's just like with the kids, but for adults. And generally it ends up with the senior adults that are later in their 50s, 60s, 70s. But anybody over 21 or over. But if anybody, there's several in California. And just Google adult wishes or adult wish foundations, and it will bring up a whole list. There's 3 or 4 very credible ones in the California area.
Okay. Well, that's great information. I love it. And then now let's talk a little bit about, you have the book, The Wish Man, and then you have the Wish Man movie, which is, here we are right now, the end of 2017. And the Wish Man movie should come out sometime, hopefully in 2018 is what we're looking at.
Yeah, 2018. It's we completed filming the end of October, and everything was filmed up in northern Arizona here. My hometown is Prescott, and filmed predominantly up here. It's now in editing, and the editing process is not just the editing of the film itself, but then we add in the sound, the color, background music, and that. They're hoping for a release in the Toronto Film Festival in September of 2018.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's not just editing that, but then it has to find the distributors. You can make all the movies you want.
Right.
But they've got to finish that editing process and get it to distributors to see. And it's a full-length motion picture. It's not a documentary or a Hallmark type thing.
Okay. And then in the making of the movie, you were there the entire time because it was in your hometown, right? You were there during the making of the movie?
Yeah, I was hired as the consulting producer and also the technical advisor. It sounds like fun, but it's not.
Is it boring?
Long days. Now, the poor crew, they started at 4:30 in the morning, and they went about 7:30, 8:30 at night. Mine was I had to be there at 7 in the morning every day, and usually finish about 8:30 at night.
Oh, wow. That's a long day.
I felt so good because the director, the set designers and that came to me asking for ideas. Is this right? The uniform's right? The background right? Because it's a period piece, Linda, from 1950 to 1980.
Okay.
So we had to recreate these signs and sets looking like the 50s, looking like 1980, finding cars, motorcycles, clothes, everything to fit that period.
Good times, good times.
Yeah. The crew was just fantastic. And Theo Davies is a director, and he also wrote the original screenplay and just did a fantastic job on that.
I'm so excited to see it. I can't wait. I hope it gets all wrapped up and everything and the bows put on it, in time for that festival. And then we get to see it. I was so excited.
Yeah. And I think one of the producers, associate producers, is a young lady named Linda. Who?
Linda West.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's right. Oh, I'm excited to be part of it. It's just your whole story is just really intriguing to me and, to many people, listening and watching, because what you did is you had an idea and then you kept going with it and you got your board of directors, you fulfilled the obligation that you had to do. And then you guys all turned this into something humongous. Did you ever, in your wildest dreams, imagine that it would be this big?
Yes, I did. After we granted our first official wish, which was a young boy going to Disneyland in California. And the response we got, the televisions from all over the United States now followed that.
Oh, why don't you tell everybody how you got that wish? Because there is some little thing you had to do that was a little bit different in order to get in the door.
Little seven-year-old nicknamed Bopsy, Frank Bopsy Salazar, again, terminal leukemia. His wish was to go to Disneyland. He also wanted to be a fireman. He also wanted to be ride in a hot air balloon. And we only grant one wish, but being the president and CEO, I told our board we're going to grant all 3 wishes because we're going to get so much press on this. People are going to learn who we are. And he did. Phoenix Fire Department made him the full turnout suit. Just had a blast doing that. A friend of mine had a hot air balloon. Disney was just a story. I mean, Disney had never heard of us, and I kept calling it Disney. This is who we are, the Make-A-Wish Foundation. All I'm asking for, maybe free admission. Can he get in the front of the line because he's in a wheelchair, very ill? And they didn't know who we were. People contact Disney all the time on things like that.
Yeah.
And they just kept, they kept hanging up on me. Finally, I just kind of said, oh, well, and I called and I said, I need to talk to your director of public relations. Who is this? Like they always answer. I said, this is Officer Frank Shankwitz, Arizona Highway Patrol. And they said, what's this about? And I said, I have a warrant for one of your people. Well, I got the person I needed to talk to right away.
Right.
But immediately when he got on the phone, I said, now I just lied. Here's my name. Here's my badge number. Here's my supervisor's name. All you have to do is call and get, and I will be fired immediately. But please listen to my story.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And now, 37 years later, Disney being one of the biggest sponsors of Make-A-Wish, literally millions and millions over the years. And I think that was my aha moment, as you say.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I love how you took your authority and used it for good, in that way. It was a little white lie, but.
Well, yeah, sometimes you have to lie a little bit, but qualify that lie immediately.
Well, yeah, and that's a good point because the first thing you said was, I said that to get here, here's my information. If you want to get me fired, you can. But you just went into it real and honest, which is very important,
Right.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your upbringing as far as, I know you were kind of back and forth a little bit when you were growing up, but there was one man in your life that really put you on a path. Juan Delgadillo, yes. And I was kidnapped by my mother, divorced my father when I was like 2 years old. She kidnapped me off a playground when I was 5 and said, we're going to Arizona. I had no idea who she was. Oh,
and,
wow.
She took a stranger out to Arizona. We lived in Michigan for several years. We lived in a tent. We lived in the back of the car. We lived in flop houses. She'd worked from one job to the other. Finally, at age 10, we did get to Arizona, a little town called Seligman, Arizona, on Old Route 66. Now, nobody knows where Seligman, Arizona is, but if anybody saw the Disney animated movie Cars, Radiator Springs in that movie is Seligman, Arizona.
Oh,
That's
cool.
what they based the movie on, where how the interstate bypassed the town and the town died. But that rancher took us in, and we lived on his kitchen floor. That was our home for almost 6 months. My mother slept on the couch. I had a bedroll on. But I got a job at 10 years old washing dishes full time. And I noticed a man across the street from the restaurant. He was starting to build something. I had no idea what. I went over there and just said, hi, I'm Frank. What are you doing? He said, I'm Juan, grab a hammer. And I had no idea. I had no father figure to show me all this stuff. And Juan did become my father figure. He built what is called a snow cap, which is like a Dairy Queen, which now 37 years later is iconic. The tour buses from Las Vegas go just to Seligman just to go see this little snow cap thing.
Are you kidding?
But and he just taught me so much. Like I said, he was my father figure, my mentor. And one of the biggest things, I used to work part-time there. I was mopping and cleaning and that. And he said, Frank, when you can, give back. And I said, what are you talking about? Well, we don't have a thing. We're still sleeping on the kitchen floor over there. He said, you don't understand. He said, you don't have to have money to give back.
Right.
He said, people in the town are helping you and your mother. It was predominantly Mexican and Indian population in Seligman. He said, they're bringing you beans and tortillas to help you guys eat. And everybody just kind of helping you out. Seligman was about 500 people population.
Okay.
And he said, you can give back like Mrs. Sanchez. She's always bringing you food. But look at her yard. She's a widow. It's full of weeds. It needs painting. The porch needs painting. You're old enough. You're big enough. You can do that, which I did. And he said, look at Mr. Ortega. They got one of the old wrecked cabooses off the Santa Fe line, got it into town, and that was going to be the family home. And again, you can help paint. You can help clean up around there. And exactly. And I learned from Juan you don't have to have money to give back. You can give back on your time. And I've always remembered that. I'm senior years now, and I still, anytime I can, give back. The other thing too is when I started 7th grade, my mother said, I can't afford you anymore. I'm moving, and you're going to stay here in town with somebody. Now that would devastate, I guess, most kids, and it did me initially. And I went over to talk to Juan. I said, what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, the first thing you need to do is learn to turn that negative to the positive.
Okay.
That's the first time I'd heard that. Again, this is 1950s. That wasn't a popular term like it is now.
Exactly.
Just like give back. I said, what do you mean, Juan? How can I do that? My home just left. And he said, we're going to make arrangements for you to live with Mrs. Sanchez, the widow Sanchez. She's going to charge you $20 a week room and board. You make $26 a week. For the first time, you're going to have $6 a week of your own money. Because everything I'd ever made went straight to my mother. I didn't get an allowance or anything. And
okay.
said, but the positive part is you're going to have, for the first time, your own bedroom. You're going to have indoor plumbing, your own shower, because we had to go to the Santa Fe station to shower and that. And not only that, but Mrs. Sanchez is the best cook in town. You don't have to worry about meals anymore. And it turned out, I lived with her for 2 years, and it turned out he was correct. He was correct. And the other big plus was Mrs. Sanchez got the first and only television in Seligman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that was a big plus too. I could start watching the Mickey Mouse Club.
That was in what year then? Was that?
That was 1954, 1955.
So before that, everybody would lay on the floor and listen to the radio, right? And stare up at the radio?
Well, yeah, when they could get reception. They couldn't get reception.
Okay.
Except for the Navajo hour off the Navajo reservation. And we could understand that because everyone was, so.
Oh, okay. You didn't speak the Navajo language.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fantastic story. I mean, it's been an interesting journey for you for sure. And turning that negative into the positive, there's been many situations where you've had to do that. And you've done a great job of it. Your book, The Wish Man, what inspired you to write the book?
I was contacted by another mentor of mine in my senior years named Greg Reed. And he suggested he had heard all my adventures, and especially the one where, and I don't talk about it too much, well, I did in the book, about where I was killed in the line of duty and brought back to life. Oh,
that's right. I wanted to bring that up because you have gone through a near-death experience yourself, or an actual death experience. So you want to talk about that?
Well, yeah, and we're kind of getting off track, but we'll get back. But yeah, again, on that 10-man squad, traveling all over the state. And we were in Parker, Arizona, which is on the California-Arizona border, bordered by the Colorado River. And during the spring break, college spring break, the little town of Parker from 500 goes to almost 50,000 people up and down the river. And they bring in all the motorcycle officers too, and car officers too, because then it was all a drugs, sex, rock and roll type thing. People getting killed constantly. I was in pursuit of a drunk driver, 25-mile zone, going 80 miles an hour. Another drunk driver pulled right in front of me, no time to react, and hit him broadside at 80 miles an hour. I was told this crash was spectacular, but
you're like,
and was pronounced dead at the scene. My partner could not bring me back to life. He called in what's called 963 officer killed in the line of duty. An off-duty emergency room nurse from California stopped and said, please let me work on him. They said, no, there's no, she said she didn't ignored him, thank God.
Wow.
And for the next 4 minutes performed CPR, heart massage, and brought me back to life. And there's a funny story to that, but I won't go into that. But it was during that period of recovery, because it took about 6 months to recover from that accident. Skull fracture, traumatic brain injury, all sorts of broken this and that. And I just thought, why did God spare me? Because every police officer I've ever worked with believes in a higher being. And so why did God spare me? There's got to be a reason. And I found out that reason in 1980 when I was introduced to Chris, the 7-year-old boy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Just beautiful story that, you came out of it. So thank goodness she was there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because the area you were in it's not like highly populated. It's not like in Los Angeles or anything.
Yeah. And there's no hospitals anywhere near the hospital is 150 miles away. And they had a little clinic, what they put me in for a couple of days. And then back to the motel room because I couldn't travel. And we had a traveling secretary at the time that would go with our squad.
Okay.
Write all the reports. Her name was Kitty. Kitty Carlisle. And Kitty kind of took care of me because there were no nurses or anything. And that started a relationship where 3 years later we got married. And
you're still married now.
34, 35 years later, yeah. Sometimes she said, I wish I would have let you go into shock, but.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay, so let's see, what's next for you? You got the movie, and when the movie comes out, are you speaking in a lot of areas, parts of the world? What's going on with Frank now?
Well, I started mentioning Greg Reed about the book, and he encouraged me to write the book and helped me with the publishing on that. But that book led to all of a sudden speaking engagements, and I was a novice speaker, and through his mentorship, just started getting more and more speaker engagements. And a couple of years ago, I'm going to boast a little bit because I'm proud of it, was named the Forbes #1 keynote speaker in the nation.
Wow.
Which is, yeah, thank you.
That's awesome.
Which has led to all sorts of speaking engagements. And this latest little medical setback I've had, the last couple of months I've had to come back. You come on an airplane 2 or 3 times a month going somewhere.
Oh, wow.
And I've got a manager named Stephanie Reiki, and she lives in Iowa, but she's booking now, and she's got me booked for almost 2018 now.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm excited to hopefully I'll be able to.
I enjoy it so much because during the meet and greets, no matter where I'm at, if it's an audience of 50 to, like at Ohio State University, I gave the commencement address, and with 19,000 people.
Wow.
Usually it's 2 to 2.5 hours of meet and greet following, with majority of the people saying, I'm the mother, father, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandparent of a wish child. But the biggest thing, and Linda, the biggest joy to me is an adult will come up and say, I'm a wish child.
Oh, gosh.
And that is just so much fun to meet them. And they could be in their late 20s now, and I'll say, what was your wish? And I will look at their eyes, and you can see them reliving that whole wish experience. That's my payback. That's my payback.
Man, that got me tears big time, because just thinking
and I never mentioned it. My time with Make-A-Wish, I never took a salary because I wanted to go into the foundation. And people said, well, that's noble. Why did you do that? I said, I have a job. I'm a police officer.
Right.
I had a full-time job, which I enjoyed doing. And real quick, I want to go into that. After about 3 years, I could not handle both. I couldn't be a police officer full-time and try and run the foundation. So the board made the very wise decision of hiring the people that were experts in the nonprofit world. And that's what made the foundation grow. We've had probably about 10 president and CEOs from our national office over the years. And the current one, David Williams, who's been there about 11 years now, has really made the foundation grow to the worldwide it is today. And that was a very smart decision by our board. Let's hire the professionals. You have to pay those professionals.
Right. Well, that's interesting, because you guys were nobody on the board was salaried at that time until you decided to turn it over to the professionals that could make something bigger out of it. Not make something out of it, because there was already something of it, but to make it a so much bigger cause and helping so many more people, right?
Yeah, and we had the name, we had the brand, we had the credibility and the character on it, and I always like to say the accountability. But we didn't have the Rolodexes like these professional have. And then when we first started hiring, one of my questions was, what's the size of your Rolodex? Oh. And one gentleman out of the group was saying, he said, well, I have 2 Rolodexes I need to go through, which means he has a lot of contacts.
Right.
And that's what we need, the contacts.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Well, this is an amazing story, and I look forward to seeing what you do in the future. And I know that whatever you do is going to be absolutely amazing, because you have such a big heart. And I don't know if you remember the first time I talked to you.
I do.
So you want to hear how I tell the story?
Go ahead.
Okay, so you spoke at Secret Knock. And this was about 2 years ago, 2 or 2.5 years ago. You spoke at Secret Knock, and I was crying when you were speaking. It was so moving. And then you went down and you sat at your table after you were done speaking. So I ran over to you to get a picture. Then I went back to my table. And then the day ended, the next day comes, and I'm driving there, and I'm like, I'm going to walk right up to Frank Shankwitz. I'm going to say, Frank, you are going to be the keynote speaker at my event. And then when I got to the venue, though, I couldn't find you anywhere. So I was and I was like, oh, I missed my opportunity, right? Like I kept on thinking, missed opportunity. And he left, like he didn't come today. But so we took a break and I was like, I had blinders on. I'm looking for Frank and I found you, like you were clear on the other side of the room. So I beelined it straight over to you. And you were in what I call the circle of death. It was you and 3 other really tall guys because you're over 6 foot tall, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and like all you guys were over 6 foot. I'm only 5'3", so I'm like this midget, you know. But I just stood next to you and I stared at you just like this, very nice and quiet, polite-ish, and I just stared at you. And then you looked down at me and you said, "Oh, hi, can I help you?" And I said, "Frank, you're going to be the keynote speaker at my nonprofit event." And you're like, "Excuse me, gentlemen, I'll be right back. I'm going to go talk to this young lady." And then we stepped aside and talked, and it just was for me. It was one of the biggest moments in my life because I had always been scared to approach people that I saw, you know, as like just, I put you on a pedestal, you know, honestly. And so I saw that and I put myself through that situation, which was very scary for me, but it's because I had this desire of what I wanted so strong that I wasn't going to let anything get in my way.
And what you mentioned, one of the things Greg Reed taught me during mentoring is he said, "You're going to become a celebrity." I said, "No, I'm not. I'm just a cop." I'm still a homicide detective at the time.
Uh-huh.
And he said, "You're going to become a celebrity, but remember, you're just like everybody else. And don't ever think that you need to be put on a pedestal." And I always remember that because people will try and treat me like a celebrity now, and I appreciate that. But I want to talk to them too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's so amazing because you're just so kind, so humble, and you know, for what you have done for the world, it's just absolutely incredible. And I'm just honored that, you know, to know you. It's been a good experience for me too. So that's what I'm saying.
Well, thank you. And I like to say I had an idea and I made it work, being in the foundation, but it's taken all sorts of people over the years to make it grow, to make it better. It's just a whole team effort.
Yeah, definitely. It takes a team. So with all of that said, you guys, you know, check it out. The Wishman, the book, the movie's coming out, and really looking forward to sharing Frank Shankwitz and his story of, you know, the founding of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I look forward to seeing you again. Hopefully I'll see you in March.
In March, yes.
Yes. Okay, fantastic. Yep. So if you're wondering what we're talking about, reach out to me and I'll tell you. Secret knock in March. I'm going to see Frank, and it's going to be an amazing event. So Frank, again, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And you have a wonderful, wonderful day.
And Linda, thank you for inviting me, and a Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.